Capture mode, blah, 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 blah. All right. So you're going to take to measure your height, okay? And I suggest you use a pencil because if you were my child and you're about to do this, I would be very upset. Or if you have tape handy, just figure out a way to measure your height standing. And the easiest way I think to do this is standing in front of a door or doorway, right? Just like if you were growing up as a little kid and your parents always took your measurements, and you take a pencil and you're in front of a doorway, you take a pencil straight, try to be as straight as possible, don't go on your tippy toes, flat foot, and take a pencil and do a little marking on the door, pencil marking on the door. And you're gonna see it right there, and then you take your measuring tape, whichever one you have, and you can actually measure whatever it is. We're gonna do it in centimeters. If you only have a measuring device that has inches, do it in inches, and then I'll show you how to convert them to centimeters. But if you have a measuring device that has centimeters, make sure that you use that. Some of you might have to use multiple times. Like if you have one of these little sewing kit tapes, they only go up to 64 centimeters. In my case, you might have a longer one. So you might have to do like, the multiple thing where you measure it twice or whatever many times you need to, and then add them all up. Okay, so far so good. That's your height, standing height. You're gonna do the same thing for sitting height. Get your chair, okay, sit, and do the same thing. If you don't want to write on your wall, and I absolutely understand that you do not want to write on your wall, I'm not asking you to write on your wall, but if that's the case, take a little piece of paper, okay? And you're just gonna move it around. Look, literally any piece of paper you have. I'm gonna just grab one from my notebook. And then all you do is you tape it around the area that you know you're gonna be sitting at or standing at. And then you just draw it on the paper instead. And now you could do a really dark marking, right? And there it is. And you could just measure to the floor, right? Now, another thing, when you're doing your sitting measurements, make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. So if your chair or you're short and your feet are not flat on the floor, find a chair or a stool that your feet are flat on the floor. Then you're going to do, so those are your standing measurements. Then you're going to do your wingspan, for example. And again, if you have a phone cord or a string, in this case, I have a phone cord here, right? And it's the 3-foot one. I know it's a 3-footer, but it doesn't matter because I have a measuring device as well. So I'm gonna grab it, and this is a bad angle here, but I'm gonna put it right at the top of my index like this. I'm gonna hold it like this, and I know from here to my left shoulder, it's one whole 3 feet cable. And then I'm gonna do from my left shoulder the same thing to my index. And now I know that I have to measure from here to here, and I could put it on my hard tape and measure it and know how long it is, and then add it to a whole length one, because I know that it was from here to here, and then from here to here, the whole cable, and then add the measurements. Am I going too fast? All right, good. So the rest are easier measurements because they're shorter measurements. Circumference of the head, if you have a flexi tape or a string or whatever it is, you would do this and measure like that. So I know it ends and meets here, so that's the circumference of my head. Put it flat, measure it. Now I know it. I'm freezing. Okay. The forearm from the tip of my finger again to my shoulder. That's the length of my arm. I could do the same thing to my elbow. And when you do the elbow, you don't do the inside, you do the outside. So that's why flexi works. So you put it straight through your fingers and you do the outside of your elbow. From there, you could do your, I'm not asking you to do the upper arm, only the forearm. Any questions so far?
Where's the document that we put all this on?
It's attached on the post. Yeah, it's not in the PowerPoint. It's attached separately. It's a document that is attached already for you. You don't have to make a copy of anything because I already made a copy for you. All right. So if throughout the whole thing you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. But that's pretty much how you fill out these anthropometric measurements. Okay, your height, your sitting height, your wingspan, arm from tip to the index of the shoulder, length of lower arm, length of the right ear. Oh, sorry, we didn't go over the right ear. The right ear will be, just try to hold it in place from the top to the bottom, the very tip of your earlobe. And that's the measurement right there. Any questions, guys?
Yes, I have a question. With the last two, how would you want us to measure it?
So the last two are